From the News Channel 5 network, this is Talk of the Town with Meryl Rose, Harry Chapman, and Debbie Allen around town.
I thank God for giving me a walking piece.
It's amazing that a guy like Nathan Landers, sitting here in Nashville, Tennessee, can have a walking peace. Because growing up, his life was anything but peaceful. It's amazing. He went from being hopeless and homeless in Boston, Massachusetts, to now having a life full of hope here in Nashville, Tennessee, being a director of music here at the Jackson Street Baptist Church, doing a lot of neat things, self-published his own story coming out called A Walking Peace, and that's sort of like the motto in his life. And it's amazing. We're going to hear what neat things are happening. It was just on Good Morning America. The wild thing is now, the same guy who directed and came out with the movie Titanic wants to do a movie on this guy right here. And we're going to find out the amazing story of his life. That is beautiful, Nathan. And I talk about you, I mean, here you were the product of a rape.
Yeah.
By a mama who was 14 years of age,
right.
Raped evidently by 2 Boston police officers. She had to give you up. She was abused and hopeless there in Boston. Gave you up. You went to an orphanage?
Yes.
And then from an orphanage, you finally were adopted, and what happened?
Right, well, I was in an orphanage called the Home for the Little Wanderers, and then I was adopted at the age of 2, but I really didn't know any of this until actually writing a book, and I'm going through that process of discovering things. So the book was a major thing for me.
Books are always cathartic, huh?
Yes,
People say
yes.
that because it helps you work out things in your life.
Right, but in the foster home, I had my share of abuse, and I had to deal with, probably every type of abuse there is. And then, I was abandoned at 17, and my adopted parents moved to South Carolina and left me in Boston. So I just had to learn how to survive, and so I remained homeless for 5 years. And I guess my music was a way out for me. I just always said that, I'm bigger than this. I'm gonna succeed. I used to say a long time ago that I had a walking piece, but I didn't know that I was actually speaking my book into existence or anything.
It's amazing how you could go from there, and you're homeless and you're destitute, and what typically, if you were writing a story, you'd think, okay, this guy's going to wind up in jail.
Right.
He's probably going to be in the prison system for years, and write him off.
Right.
And yet God had a plan for your life, and
Right.
in the midst of even horrible circumstances. So we're going to talk on our next visit about how you get from point A to point B.
Okay.
But on this one, still focusing on this, you were reunited with your birth mama after 23 years.
Right.
How did that come about?
Well, at the ending of the book, which I'm giving out so much information,
That's okay.
I did a live written documentary search day by day. I was so, because of all the emotions of writing all this, I was like, I wonder if my mother is really dead, which I was told by my adopted parents, and I had believed this all my life. And I was like, I'm going to do a search.
You are a walking billboard. Your book is a walking piece, okay? Right. You can find it on Amazon.com.
Right.
Self-published. Right. How did you get that published all by yourself?
This is totally amazing. I've been told that self-published books do not make it.
Right.
And I had a bunch of friends that I borrowed $500 from here, $1,000 from here. And I had a wonderful church, my home church, the historic Charles Street AME Church in Boston. Pastor Groover, who is my pastor who wrote the foreword, I was employed at the church doing the same thing that I'm doing out here.
Yeah.
And he was able to fund me advancements.
So long story short, a
Right.
great support group of people
Right.
all around you who know that you've got a story to tell.
Right.
He's
Right.
a walking piece, a walking billboard for the fact that regardless of your circumstances, good things can happen and you can turn your life around. So in our next visit, we're going to find out how you go from point A to point B, because
Okay.
it's too amazing.
Yeah.
From homeless and hopeless to having a neat life that's full of hope and joy, and that's pretty cool. Okay, his name is Nathan Landers. You're going to be hearing lots more about him, and on our next visit on Talk of the Town, we're going to find out some more of his amazing life. I'm Debbie Allen for the News Channel 5 Network.
That'll be coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, what an amazing young man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand that I wanna be a man. Don't keep on
Listening to
listening.
Nathan C. Landers. He's come out with a book, self-published, and of course one that he wrote called A Walking Piece. He's sitting here having fun at his keyboard. He's self-taught. Pretty amazing. Now he's the director of music right here in Nashville at the Jackson Street Baptist Church. Has a big choir there and doing some neat things. Remember on our last visit we talked about him, hopeless, homeless in Boston, at one point living in Boston Common. Pretty amazing life story. Was born to a mama who was raped by 2 Boston police officers. She gave him up, put him in an orphanage. He went from an orphanage to being adopted and then being abandoned by those adoptive parents. Just talk about a hard knocks life. It's amazing how you're sitting here today, and that's what I said last time, and not sitting rotten in a prison cell somewhere. It's amazing, and it's only by God's grace, I think, that you're here. And you come out with your book. He appears on Fox News. He appears on Good Morning America a couple months ago. Some folks see you. Who saw you on Good Morning America, and what might come of this?
Right, well, Marty Katz Productions, the name of the company there in Santa Monica, California. They contacted me to
And
auction.
Marty Katz Productions, just to let everybody know, they are responsible for a couple of little movies like Titanic and
Reindeer
The Four
Games,
Feathers.
The Four Feathers.
Reindeer Games.
Right.
Sheesh.
Chevy Chase, couple of, they're very impressive. Marty Katz used to be one of the executives for Disney, Walt Disney.
Oh, good night. So he hears your story, says this is too cool, it's amazing. Reunited with your birth mama after 23 years. Just the fact that you are now living a life full of hope is pretty wild. So he says, I want to make your movie. I want to make your story a movie.
He called me up and said, I read about you. He was actually, Frederick Levy, he was doing a book signing, and he read about me in the paper, and he was looking for his article in the Boston Globe. So it was just amazing.
Ran across your
Good
story.
Morning America, everything like that. Yeah.
Gosh, and so now, of course, these kind of things take time.
Right.
So when he buys the options to it, that means he has the right to do it whenever. So it could come out.
Right.
Do you know anything?
Yeah, there's like certain things I can't talk about because I'll be in breach. But
of the contract.
Right. But definitely they are working on things right now as we speak.
It's just pretty amazing. So how do you, did your music help save you? What saved you? And how did you get from point A, being homeless there in Boston and alone and abandoned, to now having a full life and one that is peaceful?
Yeah, well, I must say that when I was homeless on the street, I started making a way. I used my music, and I got in school. And once I got in school, I just found a whole nother person in me. And that was like the spark. And it just, one thing led to another. I just would not stop.
So you had teachers like who believed in you? So you graduated from high school already.
Right.
But then you got into a community college, and then it's like you had teachers who believed in you, and is that what they started telling you the truth about who you were?
Right. I had a close professor, Barbara Napoli. She was my sociology professor, and she taught me why people do what they do, and that really, sociology really woke me up. And there was another class called Race and Ethnicity, and that was just, these things helped me.
And the wild thing is, at that time, you didn't even know what race you were.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, I've been told, well, I made up my race because I didn't know what I was.
Because your features, you could sort of tell maybe.
I was like, I'm Italian and black, but all my life I didn't know. You know, it's hard to live and not know your identity.
Sure. So what helped bring closure to that part of your life?
I think the closure was the writing the book. I think I thought I was going to write the book after the success of my former group, Into You.
And so that's a poster that you have up there. So you have some of your neat articles all nicely framed. This isn't even half of them, huh?
Right. Demarcus Williams, he's in Nashville. That's one of the main reasons why I'm here. He's a saxophone player, a wonderful producer too. But he basically, you know, people like him been there for me, you know, friends and stuff like that. So.
That's great. So you're in Nashville, Tennessee.
Right.
Looking for a record deal. Why don't you go ahead and play some more, okay? I'll tell people a little bit how to find the book and all that. Nathan, you've got an incredible story, and it's a powerful one that regardless of your circumstances, no matter how far down, if you feel like you're in a pit, God can raise you up out of that, and you can do neat things with your life, and he is a walking testimony to that. The book is called A Walking Piece. His name is Nathan C. Landers. He's looking for a record deal. He obviously has a gift. He's self-taught. Neat things happening. You can can find his book on Amazon.com. And to find out more, you can call our Talk of the Town hotline. I am Debbie Allen for the News Channel 5 Network. Nathan, a pleasure to meet you.
For now, I see.
Oh, what an inspiring story.